You're welcome back, and this is Sunday Watch. We're reaching you live from our studio here in Ikeja, Lagos. A refined gold, emerald, pearl go through rigorous processes. They are deliberate, they are planned to achieve a desirable result. So, when it comes to parenting, what then should parents, guardians do or inculcate as a habit to bring out their child or ward as the finest, given the information technology age that we are? How can parents guide their child or ward without being overtly intrusive? Because there are some times that children will, yes, they want to listen, but at the same time, they will desire that they have some space of freedom or liberty to do some certain things. I have the pleasure of welcoming our guests to today's program, Social Media and Parental Guidance for Children. I welcome Mrs. Titi Ogunsehinde.
Good morning.
She's a parent, and thank you. You made it pretty early. How is everyone?
Fantastic.
And I really want to appreciate Daddy, yes, for releasing you this Sunday morning
It's fine.
to appear on the program. Thank you. Thank you for the honor.
Thank you for having me.
All right, I also welcome Mr. Olusegun Ajakaye. Mr. Olusegun Ajakaye is a cybersecurity expert. He also doubled as a parent. Yes, because so you have two feathers on your cap. Absolutely. As it were.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. So let's start it this way. When it comes to social media and guiding the children through, how best can a parent guide their child or ward? It is really obvious, in contemporary age, about the obsession of children with gadgets. Yes. So how can a parent now be like a lead to ensuring that we have a good digital citizens?
Okay. Thank you very much, and such a pleasure and honor to be here with you live today. And for me, I'll say parents should, before you expose them to the digital world, there needs to be proper knowledge and exposure and proper understanding on how to handle some of these, gadgets, especially with information we have out there. And we are in a digital age. Because if you don't train them within your circle, the external world will train them for you.
We'll do that.
So before we expose them, or before we give them access to digital devices, we should give them that fundamental understanding of how it works. And I'll give myself as an example in my home. I have a 14-year-old, and interestingly, we gave her a gadget to use. And I discovered that, that's a world on its own. And if we don't take necessary precautions, she will create a world within a world. And before you know it, she's exposed, to so many things out there.
Beyond the parents' knowledge.
Exactly. So that's why parents should, before they get into that world, you must be able to educate them, show them what is happening out there. And you'll agree with me that growing up back in the days, most of our parents, they shielded us from some information. And I think parents should, because if you shield them from those information, they will get to know about it, even within the social media environment as well too. So there needs to be that proper education before we expose them to the digital world.
Proper education before exposure. Mrs. Olasende, I don't know if you, I want to share your own point of view when it comes to knowledge and children. Do you think that there should be a limit to the information given out to children at a certain age, being a parent, being a mother? Do you, from your own, point of view?
Okay, thank you for having me. I don't think there should be a limit to the information being given to a child, because as a parent, once your child is, say, age 5, you'll be amazed at the level of what they know. To be honest, because some of us shy away from this reality.
Yeah.
Because, like he said, it's not like way back. Now is the digital age. So they know so much, even far more than you think they know. Do you understand? Even there are times that they know far more than you do. So I don't think there shouldn't be a limit to information being shared with a child. And we ourselves as parents should be well equipped with those information, not just understand the rudiment, the peripheral of it. Try to look deep and understand what these informations are, so that when you're talking to them, you're talking as an authority. You understand? Because sometimes they throw some questions at you and you are off balance. For instance, I have a 5-year-old boy, my adopted boy, who when he speaks sometimes, I like, Adiola, how did you get to know this? So I told the mom, I said, see, we can't just shy away. We need to let this boy know the things we feel he does not know. So we're sitting down and tell him, the part of your bodies are not X, Y, Z, like they used to tell us. We tell them the way it is. You understand? So that when somebody in school is touching you inappropriately or showing you stuff on the gadgets, you understand? You see it and say, no. Mommy says, no, we don't do this. Because I feel, from my experience, a lot of parents try to shy away from it.
Thank you for that response. The reason I asked you, should we shield our children from knowledge? And your answer is a no, that we have to let them know. That say, look, this is the situation of things. Yeah. Now, I know that many of us have devices at home. Many of us also equip our children or words with all these gadgets. Now, when it comes to family gathering and watching some content provided by providers now, there are some that they will tell you parental guide is required.
Right.
Now, but knowledge has also showed us that the parental guide is no longer working. That's actually why I want to, throw this at you. Most of those children, even on these phones and gadgets, they have a way of unlocking passwords.
Absolutely.
So how can parents, guide their children through when it comes to content that they watch and sites that they visit, either knowingly or unknowingly? Because there are some times that you'll be at some sites, information will pop up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So what should be the appropriate step for parents or guardians to take?
Thank you.
In shielding the child or what?
That's, to be very honest with you, that's a very strong question you just asked now. And what I always say to parents out there is this: let your kids be as vulnerable as they can be, especially when they're around you.
Okay.
Because it helps you to understand their level of intelligence. It helps you to understand what they've been exposed to outside the confines of the home. And interestingly as well too, I always like to tickle the fans, like my kids, like ask them some questions. Okay. Sometimes this question will take them off balance. But at the end of the day, it helps, them get prepared when they are faced with such a situation. The perfect example is this. Imagine they're watching, even in some cartoons, they kiss.
Cartoons, yes.
Yeah.
Now, what our parents taught us back in the days, where you see kids kissing in cartoon, you look away.
Look away.
But I'll tell my kids, why will you look away? Because you will see this thing, even when I'm not in the house, some, scenes will pop up on the screen. So, like she said, we need to be able to have those conversations with them. Like you talked about the pop-up, even with the games they download, some pop-up ads will show. Those pop-up ads are ads that are even sent like adults, So we need to...
Even some as high or whatever, as nudity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we need to be able to help, let them, so when they are exposed to such information, right, how do they also filter that information? Because for me, I believe, like she said, those conversations should be had with the kids, because at the end of the day, it helps prepare them, ahead of all this content. Even for instance, Netflix as well too. most of the things they will say PG-13. PG-13 is PG-40 sometimes, you know.
Yeah.
So educating them and letting them know before it happens, this is what you should do. This is what the real world is. You know, it's very important at the end of the day.
It's very important. Okay, Mrs. Olusegun. Now let's look at parenting at different stages.
Okay.
Also differ.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's look at the education sector now.
Okay.
Most of the activities of children these days are, you know, tied to all these gadgets,
Sure.
even to the home tasks and all that.
Sure.
Many times, some of these children, unknowingly, they, you know, make use of these their gadgets in carrying out their tasks. Is it really necessary for parents or guardians to be around these children, and at what age or stage? You said information should not be shielded from children. So what should be the step-by-step guide when a child is handling some of these gadgets in carrying out their normal educational tasks?
Okay.
And how can schools also, you know, further teach these children in being conscious of, you know, the social media activities?
Okay, I would say that in response to that, parents should, from my experience, real life experience, parents should not be negligent when it comes to putting a watch over their kids when they are having their homework done with gadgets. Because, you know, it's just like you're releasing the gadgets and you're doing something else. Whether it's popping up, whether they are being distracted, because even we as adults, sometimes you're working and you're being distracted. A message comes in on WhatsApp, you switch to WhatsApp. As you're switching from WhatsApp, it's linking you to YouTube. From YouTube, you are going to Instagram. And before you know it, instead of you spending 1 hour, you are spending 5 hours. And you've not achieved anything. So the first thing is, when your child is doing an homework assignment or whatever, if you are around that child or you have somebody around the child like a guardian, at interval, there should be a checkup. What are you doing part time? Is very important. And what I do for my kids is once I pick up the gadgets, I go back to history. I check. That saved me, I think that was 1.5 years ago. It saved me a great deal when my child was introduced to porn. I noticed for 2 consecutive days, she was doing the same assignment. And I keep asking, why are you on this same assignment for 2 straight days? You are not done. She kept giving the excuse, the teacher said we should. God was so good. That night, I was about going to sleep and I needed to listen to a message that I needed to conclude that very day. And I just started seeing about 22 porn short videos of duration of 5 minutes. And I was in my mind, I said, what's this? Why is this YouTube doing this? By the time I checked the time, it tallied with the time she was having her homework. And that was how I swung into action. So I learned that lesson a bitter way, that when you give them the gadgets, you must go back. Keep checking on them at intervals. And also make them understand that, see, when you start going this way, you will not achieve your purpose one until you're filling your heart, your soul with what should not, and you're polluting it. So I think it's important, constant checkup, constant conversation with them. Don't do that. I've learned smiling. Don't do that. Don't go there. Don't look at that. It's important. And give them the reasons why they should not do that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Ogunsehinde. Thank you very much for that. Now, Mr. Ajakaye, she said, see, it's not about passwording. It's actually about hitting the nail on the head. This and this will happen. But there is still a clause from me. Some children are still considered underage. The password is, idea, crept up sometime, and it's obvious that it's no longer working. She suggested intermittent checks. when children are handling gadgets. Yes, for educational purposes. But as a professional now, as a cyber expert, when children handle these gadgets and parents are kind of suspicious, or they need to take extra step in guiding them, what will you suggest professionally?
All right, thank you very much. So for me, I'll talk about take it from putting parental controls of checks. For instance, on Google, there's the Google parental control, which helps you to prevent, for instance, if they are visiting sites, it requires your permission. So for them, if for instance, if they have access to those devices, you as the parents will open the account for them, either across Google or YouTube, before they get access to it.
How easy, before you go further, I want you to take it, one after another, so that a lot of people can, really learn and, bring it to their daily lifestyle.
Yeah.
How can this be achieved?
All right, so I'll say because before a journey starts, right, it starts from step one.
Step one.
Yeah. Step one requires you, at least the phone, what Gmail are they using? Gmail email address are they using? First thing. What Google, Chrome, or Safari, or whatever web browser they use, there needs to be an account activated there, right? Now, who created the account? Are you the one that created the account or your child?
Yeah.
Now, you as the parent should be the one creating such accounts, meaning that you enter your email address, blah, 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 specifically for the child as the parent. Then you put YouTube as well, so before they get access to YouTube, you should be the one to create a profile for them. Because there needs to be like a parent who is serving as someone who will check. So from anywhere you are, from your device, you can see the history. As the child is checking, you're also seeing what they're doing. So parents should make sure they create those profiles themselves. Now, they need your approval as well to visit some sites. Some kids are now wise.
That's it.
They know how to go behind to do whatever it is.
As much as possible, we have to talk about the contemporary age.
Yes, but most importantly is the fact that algorithm also matters as well. So for instance, imagine the child deletes the history and I pick your phone, spend like 5 or 1 hour on the phone as I'm using the internet. Now, there's this, so algorithm works in a way that it understands or remembers your history, even if you've deleted it. So there are certain information that still comes back up again. So it depends on the age of the child as well too.
Yeah.
So in my own situation as well, I will let the child understand that, like we will talk about it, except if the child is probably not ready, mentally ready for that discussion, right? But at the end of the day, right, it's always important to, right now in my home, it's a no gadget policy. Phones, no phone.
I want to know how you achieved that.
Because, so the first time we introduced the phone to my daughter, there were instructions, no WhatsApp group, no this, no that.
Okay.
We laid out instructions.
Okay.
Now, interestingly, if you falter in any way or you miss any particular instruction which we've given out, then you will be the one to give yourself the consequence. So the first time we introduced that, the second time we noticed that, she was actually going in the wrong direction. We had to quickly, put in some checks. Now it's a no gadget policy until she's 17 or 18.
Wow.
It's difficult, but you sometimes as a parent, you have to stand your ground to make sure that they don't have access to those gadgets. Okay.
Mrs. Ogunsehinde, do you agree with, his last statement?
Not totally.
Okay. So let's hear your
because some of these kids, especially those who are in secondary school, like on that age range, their friends come to school with phones.
Thank you.
And so what you don't want them to watch at home, or what you don't want them to do at home, they're liberty to do it in school.
Okay.
Sometimes we might say, the school checks their bag because like my kids' school now, they now put this measure in place, we check your bag. They have their way. So I allow them. For me, my 3 kids are sharing a phone. You understand, for the purpose of education and all that. But I tell them, the last time this happened, you knew the effect it had on you mentally. So the other people should learn, or the other 2 should learn from it. So as for me, I don't bother. Have the gadgets, but this gadget that is in your hand, if you go beyond this limit, there is consequence. The consequence is not that I'm punishing you or something, but it has a mental effect. You can imagine a child consuming 22 pounds in less than 1 hour. Can you imagine the effect it has on such a...
Yeah.
And the sisters are seeing the effect. So I try to sit there and tell them, see, when I say don't do a thing, I'm telling you because I've been there. You understand? When you say don't have WhatsApp group, like in my church, they have like less than, more, like say like 5 WhatsApp group. One for drama, one for this, one for... So they give you reasons why they must have a WhatsApp
have a group.
And when I check, they tell them, see, this group, no, thank God that there's even a lock. The admin is the only one that can send message. So I think that we should allow them, but equip them with relevant information.
Okay. Equip them with relevant information. Mr. Ajakaye, see, when we look at what is really going on, we'll realize that more harm is being done to a lot of children using the social media. How, in your own, knowledge, should parents guide their children to ensure that we raise good digital citizens? Yes, the social media has come to stay. What benefits can we take out of it so that in the future these children will look back and appreciate their upbringing?
Thank you very much. So I think I'll advise parents to, so just like back then growing up, some sects call the TV the devil's box, right? The same devil's box can also be an angelic box as well too. Yeah. So what we need to let them know is that this is actually not evil, but how do you use it? You understand? And the most important part about it is that giving them tasks as well too, so they understand the importance of using this device or this gadget to their own advantage at the same time. Just yesterday, I was telling my kids, I gave them assignment. I said, open YouTube, do this, come back to me. Let me have proper information around what you've been able to do on that particular side. So we need to keep reminding them. And one thing I also want parents to also remember is this. Tell your kids, think before you click.
Think.
Right.
Think before you click. And there's also strangers out there as well who also behave like perpetrate certain evil, like as if they are probably teenagers as well too. So making them understand that this thing actually exists out there, but they need to also be able to filter what comes in here, because it's also always important for them to understand that they need to think before they click.
Think before you click. It's really important, and I appreciate really that sentence, that whatever children do, whatever you would do, we may not be all around at all times, but let's equip them, let's educate them, let them know why they have to think and think deeply before they click that button. Okay, so Modukwe ní ọwọ́ gbogbo ohun tí àwọn àlejò wa tí wọ́n ti fi ṣe ohun àpèjúwe ohun ẹ̀kọ́ tí wọ́n ti ṣe fún wa ní ọ̀nà oríṣiríṣi ní èdè àbínibí. Mo kí Mrs. Titi Ogunsehinde, mo kí wọn káàbọ̀ sí orí ètò wa ní èní. Bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ni mo kí alàgbà wa Olusegun Ajakaye sí orí ètò. Òbí ni àwọn méjèèjì ní orí ètò yìí, ṣùgbọ́n alàgbà Ajakaye àwọn jẹ́ ẹni tí ó mọ ojú ẹ̀rọ ní iwájú àti ẹ̀yìn. Wọ́n mọ̀ tinútinú nítorí pé àwọn ohun tí wọ́n ti ń bá wa sọ ní èdè Gẹ̀ẹ́sì ó fi hàn wípé ẹni tí ó ń fini tó ń tọ́ni sọ́nà ní àwọn ohun wọ̀nyí náà ni wọ́n jẹ́. Mo wá fẹ́ bi yín ní àwọn nǹkan kan ní èdè àbínibí. À ń wo ìtọ́ni sọ́nà láti ọ̀dọ̀ òbí sí àwọn ọmọ nípa lílo ẹ̀rọ ayélujára. Ǹjẹ́ ẹ̀rọ ayélujára yìí ǹjẹ́ ó tiẹ̀ jẹ́ ṣé ó ní àwọn ohun àmúlò tó dáa ní fún ọmọ àti fún ẹbí àti agbègbè wa? Èyí ni àwọn ohun tí àwọn àlejò wa la máa wò ní ọlọ́kan ọ̀jọ̀kan tí wọ́n dẹ̀ máa fún wa ní èsì bí ó ṣe yẹ. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ọ̀dọ̀ ìyáàfin Titi Ogunsehinde. À ń wo ẹ̀rọ ayélujára ní òde òní, kò sí ohun tá a lè ṣe sí mọ́. ó ti dé bá wa, àwọn ọmọ ti ń lò ó. Ọ̀nà wo ni òbí lè gbà láti rí wípé ẹ̀rọ yìí ó jẹ́ ohun àmúlò tó dáa ní inú ilé? Ọ̀nà wo ni?
Ẹ ṣé olóòtú. Ọ̀nà pọ̀ lóríṣiríṣi tíyàn lè gbà láti jẹ́ kí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára kó wúlò fún àwọn ọmọ, pàápàá fún àwa òbí fúnra wa. A gbọ́dọ̀ kọ́ àwọn ọmọdé yìí ní lílo gbogbo ẹ̀rọ tí ó wà ní ọwọ́ wa. Kíkọ́ wọn ò ń ṣe pé tí wọ́n ṣe máa tẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n kíkọ́ wọn wípé káwọn náà lo ọgbọ́n orí láti mọ nǹkan tí wọ́n fẹ́ wò àti nǹkan tí wọn ò ní wò lórí ayélujára, nítorí pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ibi ló wà lórí rẹ̀, bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan rere náà ló wà lórí ẹ̀. Irú àwọn ọmọ akẹ́kọ̀ọ́, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wọn ń lò láti fi mọ ẹ̀kọ́ sí. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn tí wọ́n ń kọ́ṣẹ́ ọwọ́ lórí ẹ̀, wọ́n rí ẹ̀kọ́ ọ̀fẹ́ ní orí ẹ̀. Gbogbo eléyìí la gbọ́dọ̀ máa fi kọ́ àwọn ọmọ, àti pé pàápàá jùlọ ní orí ẹ̀ náà láti rí àwọn tí ẹ pé wọ́n ń ṣe nǹkan búburú. A gbọ́dọ̀ fi nǹkan kan pamọ́ fún àwọn ọmọ, gbogbo ẹ̀ láyé ká máa ṣàlàyé fún wọn pé tí yóò ṣe ní ọ̀nà rere náà ló ṣe nọ́ràn búburú. Káwọn ọmọ wa lo ọgbọ́n orí wọn láti mọ̀ pé eléyìí tí a bá wò yìí nǹkan búburú ni, ẹ má jẹ́ àlọ́bẹ̀, nítorí pé ó lè bà ọjọ́ iwájú wọn jẹ́. So mi máa gbà wá nímọ̀ràn láti pé ká sì rí pé tó má ṣe ń lò náà ká máa tẹ̀lé wọn, ká máa fún wọn lámọ̀ràn nígbàkigbà.
Ká máa fún wọn ní àmọ̀ràn ní òrèkóòrè. Mo wá sí ọ̀dọ̀ yín, alàgbà Ajakaye. À ń wo ẹ̀rọ ayélujára àti lílò rẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹni tó jẹ́ àmójú gbogbo àwọn ohun ayélujára yìí. Ọ̀nà wo ni ẹ̀yin máa gbà? A ti gbọ́ nípa pé kí òbí kó fi àwọn ohun ètò kan sí orí àwọn ẹ̀rọ yìí láti rí pé àwọn ọmọ kò lè ní ìwúlò fún àwọn ọmọ, ṣùgbọ́n ó máa wá jẹ́ ohun ìyàlẹ́nu pé ohun tí mo ti ẹ̀gbẹ́ pamọ́ yìí gan kò tiẹ̀ sí nǹkan kan tó pamọ́, ó tún mọ́ jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Ọ̀nà wo ni a lè gbà ní àwùjọ láti rí wípé ẹ̀rọ yìí ó jẹ́ ẹ̀rọ tí ó ń tọ́ ọmọ sọ́nà bó ṣe yẹ?
Ẹ ṣé gan. So mo máa sọ fún àwọn òbí tó ń gbọ́ wa kí àwọn ọmọ yẹn tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ni máa lo ẹ̀rọ náà, kó jẹ́ pé àwọn ló máa create account yẹn fún wọn, meaning pé ẹ̀yin lẹ máa ṣí gbogbo ẹ̀ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ títí dópin, kẹ́ bá lè ní àǹfààní láti lè rí nǹkan tó bá ń ṣe lórí
láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ dópin. Òbí tí ò wá ráyè nǹkan kọ́ ló ń ṣàánú.
Ó gbọ́dọ̀ ráyè.
Ó gbọ́dọ̀ ráyè.
Because bí ọmọ yẹn ń ṣe tiẹ̀, ẹ máa jókòó, ẹ máa wò ohunkóhun tó bá ń ṣe lórí títì ẹ̀ náà. Now another nǹkan tí máa tún sọ fún àwọn òbí ni pé irú ọmọ yẹn ṣe ń ṣe tiẹ̀ náà, bó jẹ́ lálẹ́ ni ẹ mọ ọmọ yẹn jókòó, ẹ bá ní gbólóhùn ni pé kí ló ṣe lórí kíní ilé ni. Now nǹkan tí máa tún sọ ni pé password tẹ́ bá create náà fún orí fóònù yẹn náà, àwọn òbí gbọ́dọ̀ mọ bí wọ́n ṣe máa bá ọmọ yẹn bá wọn ṣe, dẹ́ pé wọ́n máa sọ fún wọn bí wọ́n ṣe máa ṣe. Màá dẹ̀ sọ pé kí àwọn òbí náà máa irú àwọn programs báyìí náà kọ́ tún máa wò, because ó máa jẹ́ kí wọ́n máa mọ bó ṣe máa láti máa encourage àwọn ọmọ yẹn láti máa mọ nǹkan tó máa ṣe. But màá tún sọ pé irú passwords, irú history bá ṣe ti sọ, káwọn òbí yẹn máa wò ibo lọmọ mi, kí ọmọ mi ti wò.
Nítorí òbí mi gan ò tiẹ̀ mọ̀, ẹ wò tá a bá fi dídá òbí mi, ẹ má jẹ́ àpárọ̀ o, tá a bá ti fi receive, tá a ti fi dá ẹ̀kọ́, èyí tó kù kékeré ni ìyẹn ò tiẹ̀ dẹ̀ kàn wọ́n mọ́.
Wọ́n lè wá ọmọ.
Báwo ni òbí ṣe lè máa wo ohun tẹ́ ẹ sọ yìí láti mọ ohun tí ọmọ ti wò sẹ́yìn?
Tí òbí ò bá mọ̀ ṣe, kọ́ wá ẹnìkan lé àwùjọ wọn.
Tó lè máa tọ́ sọ́nà.
Ọ̀ tó máa kọ́ wọn bọ́ yẹn ṣe.
Tó máa kọ́ bí yẹn gangan fúnra rẹ̀.
Ayé ìgbà yẹn la máa ní à ń lo fóònù pálásà. Ayé ìsìn yìí ó ti jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. So òbí kankan ò lè ní pé òun ọ̀bọ ṣe ń ṣe.
Ó dá Mrs. Ogunsehinde, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ìgbà ni a máa ń retí àwọn ọmọ tó wọ́n á máa kùn, wọ́n láwọn òbí àwọn ò tiẹ̀ jẹ́ káwọn rí mú mi. Ṣóyè yín, wọ́n máa wò ó pé gbogbo ìgbà mú kinní wá, mú gbá wá, mú fóònù wá, ṣé wọ́n ní jẹ́ káwọn ṣe nǹkan kan lórí ẹ̀ ni? láì kò jẹ́ wípé èèyàn ń dààmú ọmọ láì nídìí, ọ̀nà wo, that's been, you know, been overtly intrusive, ọ̀nà wo ni a lè gbà láti rí wípé láì a sọ fún àwọn ọmọ yẹn wípé tí o bá ṣe àtúbọ̀tán ẹ̀ rèé, ọ̀nà wo la lè gbà tí wọ́n fi ní máa fi gbogbo ìgbà kùn pé wọn ò jẹ́ káwọn ráyè ṣe nǹkan fẹ́.
Lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ gbogbo ọmọ ló gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ òbí ní àkọ́kọ́. Tí ọmọ ẹ bá jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ ẹ, ó máa easy gan láti lè máa gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́nu wọn. Ó dẹ̀ máa easy gan láti jẹ́ pé tíyàn bá ń bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ pé nǹkan báyìí báyìí nǹkan báyìí báyìí, wọn ò ní máa ruga sókè pé rárá o, ẹ ti wá ń ṣe ju o, ẹ ti wá fẹ́ mọ́ ju o, ẹ ti wá rárá. Pípé ọmọ jókòó òun ṣe pé kó wá pé jókòó kó máa lọ létí kó máa fà létí. Mo máa dẹ̀ rí ìgbà mìíràn àti lè rí lórí fóònù ọwọ́ wọn pé wọ́n ti wo nǹkan tí ò yẹ kán wò. Táwa náà dẹ̀ ti rí, kò nídìí ariwo. Pẹ̀lẹ́ lágbájá, á jókòó. Mo máa dẹ̀ rí kinní kan níbì kan ní èní. Kinní yẹn ò dẹ̀ dára rárá. Ọmọ lágbájá kan tí ó dẹ̀ wò nígbà kankan báyìí ló ṣe o. Àbí kí ló rò?
Afẹnu ara ẹ̀ dájọ́.
Afẹnu ara ẹ̀ ṣèdájọ́. Mo rí pé wọn náà wò ni mo ṣe ní kí n gbà kíyèsí ẹ̀ sí pé àtúbọ̀tán ẹ̀rẹ́ o, tó bá ṣe báyìí tó ṣe báyìí. Mi ní pé kó má ṣe nǹkan tó bọ̀, ṣùgbọ́n tó bá ṣe ibi tó máa já sí mi. Ó yàtọ̀ sí pé o fọ́ etí ẹ̀ lẹ́ni, o gbọ́ orí ẹ̀ lọ́la. Mo ní kó má wo mọ́. Mo ní kó má wo yẹn, ó máa lé wọn, ó máa jẹ́ kọ́kàn wọn máa lé sí ni. Àwa fúnra wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ti sọ, káwa fúnra wa náà ní ìmọ̀ kún ìmọ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ fóònù, so that tó bá tẹ̀ ṣe nǹkan mi, ìgbà míì wọ́n á ṣe nǹkan mi tó yẹ pé ẹ̀yin gan kò yé yín nǹkan tó ń ṣe. Wọ́n máa sọ̀rọ̀ mí lẹ́nu. Mo ti rí àwọn ọmọ tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n máa sọ code lẹ́nu tó dẹ̀ ń bára wọn sọ̀rọ̀, phone code tó yẹ pé ẹ̀yin fúnra yín kò yé yín,
kò tiẹ̀ yé yín.
Kò yé yín. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn òbí kan náà tí àwọn náà lọ wá ìmọ̀kúnmọ̀ náà ní kó báyìí náà sọ ẹ̀yin náà tètè jásí o, kẹ́ tètè máa tẹ̀lé tó yẹn sọ o.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, kẹ́ lè mọ ibi tí wọ́n ń lọ kó tó pẹ́ jù. Mo kọ́kọ́ mú ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn sí ọ̀dọ̀ màmá wa. Àìmọye ilé tí bàbá bá ti wọlé báyìí, bàbá dé ni. Torí bàbá máa ruga wọlé ni pé oníkálukú ibikíbi tó bá wà bá máa sá eré, máa lọ forí pamọ́ síbẹ̀ ni. Bàbá ò tiẹ̀ dẹ̀ wá ní bèrè pé kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ o. Ìwọ ṣo ti kàwé ẹ̀ lẹ́nu, ìwọ ṣo ti gbé ní tí mo ní pé kó ṣe ṣó ti ṣe, ṣó ti tó báyìí tí ì ṣe orúgi oyin ni. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́, ọ̀nà tí irú bàbá bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ó lè máa gbà láti bójútó, torí gbogbo nǹkan tí ìyá wa sọ yìí kò fi hàn pé tá a bá ń ruga ní gbogbo ìgbà àárẹ̀rẹ̀ tó dáa o, mi ò ní pé kò dáa o, ṣùgbọ́n àpèjúwe tí àwọn ṣe yẹn. Ṣùgbọ́n gẹ́gẹ́ bí bàbá fẹ́ dúró tán, báwo ni bàbá ṣe lè ṣe iṣẹ́ tán máa jọ fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ pẹ̀lú màmá nínú ilé láti rí wípé àwọn ọmọ yìí wọ́n lo àwọn ẹ̀rọ ìbò ṣetán?
Mo láìwẹ̀ ṣe sọ ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn tẹ́ni kó fi ọwọ́ sowọ́pọ̀. Ayé ìtawà sí i bàbá kò sí pé ọwọ́ irin la máa fi máa ọmọ yìí. A máa bá ṣe ń lọ́wọ́ irin la máa lọ́wọ́
torí mo fẹ́ ní pé tẹ bá ní ká fọwọ́ pẹ̀lẹ́ nìkan, èmi ò mọ̀ pa yẹn o.
Bá ṣe ń lọ́wọ́ irin, bọ́wọ́ irin díẹ̀ ni, kò ṣe pé kọ́wọ́ irin wá le ju tọwọ́ kíní lọ. Because bàbá gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ ọmọ. Ó gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ ọmọ. Because ó máa tó stage kan táwọn ọmọ ẹ̀gbọ́n máa kúrò nílé tó máa lọ síta, kí ló ń kọ́ńtà. Bàbá gbọ́dọ̀ ní relationship pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ tó ń pé tọ́mọ bá padà délé á sọ pé ẹ máa gbọ́ o, nǹkan báyìí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ o, nǹkan báyìí ló ṣẹlẹ̀. Bàbá dẹ̀ máa fetí máa gbọ́ bọ́mọ ṣe ń sọ, ẹ jẹ́ kó sọ.
Ẹ má kó wọn láyà jẹ.
So bí bàbá ṣe ń fetí sílẹ̀ tó ń gbọ́, bàbá máa mú wọn tọ́ ọ̀nà tí ẹ kọ́ dán ní ayé. Bọ́ bá dẹ̀ ṣe ń ṣe bí madam wa bí ṣe sọ, ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ fi ọwọ́ rin pé ẹ tọ́ bá ti ṣe ẹ gbogbo gbà ní nínà. Ìgbà míì gan ọ̀rọ̀ a ṣiṣẹ́ ju pé kí ọ̀nà wọn lọ.
Ẹgbà lọ.
So òbí gbọ́dọ̀ mọ bó ṣe máa connect pẹ̀lú àwọn ọmọ wọn láti ọ̀rọ̀, and àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn kẹ̀dẹ̀rẹ́ ẹ má bọ ẹnu kẹ́ni ayé ìgbà yẹn pé tẹ́ gbé wọ̀ nílé sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ má bẹ ẹnu sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ sọ because tẹ́ bá bẹ ẹnu sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ará àtà máa bá yín kọ́ wọn.
Lọ́nà tí ò tiẹ̀ tọ́ ń gbà míì, kí n tó wá jẹ́ kí mo fẹ́ kí ẹ kàn sọ ní ṣókí báwo ni ẹ̀rọ tá à ń gbé alágbèéká tá à ń gbé kiri yìí báwo ni ó ṣe lè jẹ́ èrè fún àwọn ọmọ àti òbí ní ìsìn àti ní ọjọ́ iwájú, ẹ má jẹ́ kó pọ̀ jù.
Ok, nǹkan tí màá kọ́ sọ ni pé kí òbí táwọn ọmọ bá ń ṣe bíi assignment àbí àwọn homework àbí nǹkan kan tó bá fẹ́ kọ́ ní orí ẹ̀rọ kọ́ jókòó tí wọ́n kọjọ ṣe kọ́ ba lè mọ bí àwọn ọmọ yẹn ṣe ń lo àwọn kìíní yìí. Àkọ́kọ́ nìyẹn. Èkejì ni pé kí àwọn òbí náà kọ́ máa ní àwọn information, up to date information yìí láti lè mọ̀ pé okay kí ni nǹkan tó ń trend láyé ìsìn tàwa yìí. Ẹ̀yin gan tún lè kọ́ ọmọ yín láti lè mọ wọ́n ṣe ń lò dáadáa. Then bí a ṣe ti sọ tẹ́lẹ̀ ni pé káwọn máa rán àwọn ọmọ yẹn létí nípa àwọn kóhun tí wọ́n máa ní láti mọ̀ láti lè lo àwọn ẹ̀rọ yìí dáadáa. Ṣó yé yín? So àwọn òbí gbọ́dọ̀ máa ní àwọn information yẹn up to date láti lè máa mọ̀ okay báyìí máa ṣe kọ́ ọmọ yìí báyìí máa ṣe nǹkan tó máa ṣe lé nǹkan tó ò ní ṣe lélẹ̀ wọ́n á dẹ̀jọ́ máa ṣe. Then nǹkan tí máa sọ fún àwọn òbí ni pé ẹ máa sọ fún àwọn ọmọ yín kọ́ máa rò kọ́ tó click ẹ lè bá mi sọ kí ó bá lè.
Wọ́n ní pé kí ẹ tó tẹ bọ́tìnì yẹn sẹ́ ro jinlẹ̀ má kàn tẹ́ ro dáadáa ṣé èyí tó máa ṣe mí láǹfààní ni mo fẹ́ tẹ̀ tàbí èyí tó máa kó ọjọ́ iwájú mi sí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ewu. All right, we want to appreciate our guests thus far. But before I allow them go, I will, go quickly to Mrs. Titi Ogunsehinde. We have said so much about social media and parental guardians. A lot are happening, on daily basis, even hourly. Parents should be more vigilant. Yeah. Parents, as you have said earlier, parents should be friends with their child at all times, very close to your children. But beyond all those that we have, analyzed and you have, taught us, what will be the basic tips for parental guardians when it comes to the use of social media by the children? Mrs. Ogunsehinde.
Okay, I think basically tips for parental guidance is one, be informed. As a parent, it's important and crucial for you to be well informed about the cyberspace. Understand it very well. Understand the language to the best of your knowledge. Two, pass down information appropriately to your children, not gatekeeping any information whatsoever. And three, guide them appropriately on the usage. Don't just release the gadgets and take a walk off. Ensure that intermittently you're checking up on them, you're checking up on what they're doing. Not that you be too inquisitive, but try to just take a check and see what they're doing, so that when anything is going wrong, you can quickly come through. And peradventure, your children at one point or the other derail. It's not an avenue for you to shout and scream. Have a conversation. Have a conversation. These are the pros and the cons. I think we talked about this before. Like he said, I like that. It's not every time beating. Sometimes you say some words by the Spirit of God, and these things, hit deep into a child. You understand? And with good examples around of people that had fallen victim of all this, I'm sure that we are good to go.
All right, Mr. Ajakaye.
All right. So I would say parents should endeavor to teach their kids the golden rules of internet use. Very important, and device rules as well too. Then I'll say parents should create strong passwords. Your kids should not use their date of birth or certain information or family information as passwords, because if their devices are hacked, you will fall victim as well too. Great. Imagine you've transacted on that particular device, or probably your cards are on that device. Maybe they are trying to purchase some gaming apps. Then I also say your kids should also understand that they should avoid oversharing, which is very, very important. They should not share some information, within the internet or, openly. And another thing is also for the kids to be smart with devices as well too. Then, like we mentioned earlier, they should think before they click.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. All right, I heard you. My wonderful Yetunde, I heard you. All right, we have to go. I sincerely appreciate you this morning, Mrs. Titi Ogunsehinde.
Thank you
very much for being our guest this morning, and Mr. Ajakaye.
Thank you.
I appreciate the two of you. I want to sincerely plead with every parent. Parenting can be, rigorous, but then said we should give it our all, and the Almighty will make it an easy one for us, and we will build and breed children who will, stand tall at all times in defending the nation, the society, and their families. We'll see same time next week. Anita Buhari is my name, and for everyone who made today's production a successful one, I say thank you. We'll see again next week. Bye for now.
Looking for a program that would keep you informed, get you involved, and make your voice count? Then tune in to Citizens Gate, where we'll update you about government activities and the issues that may be affecting your community. On Citizens Gate, you also have the opportunity to communicate with government office holders and let them know how you feel and where the shoe pinches. With Citizens Gate, you are literally a stakeholder. Join us every Thursday at 2:30 p.m. on Lagos Television, and let's build a greater and smarter Lagos. Citizens Gate, a program that connects you to the government of Lagos State and its activities, is now on television. Brought to you by Lagos State Office of Political, Legislative and Civic Engagement. Citizens Gate, a must watch.
Your love is sweetness,
The Conversation.